So this is the last video referring to the summary I gave you. This is part 4. This is where we ended off. We did everything there was to do with that function. And now we're going to check out the graph just to make sure everything worked out. So I transferred everything we found over here, and I went to Desmos, and I graphed the original function, the function we were studying, which is right here. You can see that's what I typed in, and we got the graph. So now I'm going to make sure everything worked out. So first, we're going to check our increasing and decreasing. So we found out with calculus that our function is decreasing from negative infinity all the way up to 0. So if you look at the graph, it is in fact decreasing from negative infinity to 0. And then we found out that it was increasing from x equals 0 to x equals 2. And as you look at the graph, that is the case. And lastly, it goes back to decreasing from 2 to infinity. So from 2 to infinity, it's decreasing. So that worked out very nicely. Now we're going to check the concavity. We determined using calculus that it was concave down from negative infinity to 1 and concave up from negative infinity to 1. So from negative infinity to 1, it's concave up. So if you look at the graph on that range, it is concave up until you get here. Then we found after 1 and all the way to infinity, so from 1 to infinity, it was concave down. So if you trace the graph from 1 to infinity, it is indeed concave down. So that worked out. Next, we want to check our relative mins, max, or relative extrema, and our point of inflection. So we determined there's a relative minimum at 0, comma negative 2. 0, comma negative 2 is right here, and that is in fact a relative minimum. We found that there's a relative maximum at 2, comma 2. 2, comma 2 is right here, and of course that turns out to be a relative maximum. Finally, a point of inflection, which is tough to tell on the graph, so calculus really helps us out here. We have a point of inflection at 1, comma 0. On the graph, 1, comma 0 is right here, and that means that is precisely where that graph changes from concave up to concave down. So everything looks good there. The calculus worked, and that's it for section 3.3 and 3.4.